The night was cold, the kind of cold that seeped into your bones and made you question the very warmth of life. The moon hung low, a pale crescent in the sky, casting faint shadows over the desolate forest. Somewhere in the depths of those woods, a creature lay dying, a creature not of this world. Zorath, an alien vampire from the distant planet of Nyxeris, had been stranded on Earth for months. His ship had crashed during a violent storm, leaving him injured and weak. His kind fed on the life essence of living beings, a process that sustained their immortality. But Earth was not Nyxeris. The life here was different, and Zorath had struggled to adapt. His strength had waned, and now he lay curled against the base of a tree, his silver skin shimmering faintly under the moonlight, his once piercing crimson eyes dimming. He was dying, and he knew it. Zorath's mind wandered to his homeworld, to the towering obsidian spires of his city, to the endless night skies filled with twin moons. He thought of his kin, of the great hunts they would embark upon, their laughter echoing through the void. He had been a warrior, a hunter, a being of power and pride. But here, on this primitive planet, he was nothing more than a shadow, fading into oblivion. Just as his eyes began to close, a sound reached his ears, a soft crunch of leaves underfoot. His senses, though dulled, still detected the presence of another being. Human. Zorath's lips curled into a faint sneer. Humans were weak, fragile creatures. But this one was different. He could feel it. The human approached cautiously, a flashlight in hand. The beam of light swept across the forest floor until it landed on Zorath's prone form. The alien vampire hissed, baring his fangs, but the sound was feeble, more a plea than a threat. "What the human whispered, crouching down. It was a woman, her dark hair tied back in a loose braid, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and curiosity. She wore a thick jacket and boots, clearly prepared for the cold, but nothing could have prepared her for this. Zorath tried to speak, but his voice was a rasp, barely audible. "Leave me." The woman hesitated, then shook her head. "You're hurt," she said, her voice soft but firm. "I can't just leave you here." Zorath's eyes narrowed. "You do not understand what I am." "I don't," she admitted. "But I know you're alive and you're suffering. My name is Elena. Let me help you." Elena. The name echoed in Zorath's mind. He wanted to refuse, to push her away, but he was too weak. His body was failing him, and the thought of dying alone in this foreign land was unbearable. Reluctantly, he nodded. Elena slung his arm over her shoulders, grunting under his weight. Zorath was taller than any human she had ever seen. His body lean but surprisingly heavy. She half dragged, half carried him through the forest, back to her small cabin on the edge of the woods. The cabin was warm, the fire in the hearth casting flickering shadows on the walls. Elena laid Zorath on the couch, covering him with a thick blanket. She brought him water, but he refused it, shaking his head. "Not water," he whispered. "I need life." Elena frowned. "Life? What do you mean?" Zorath's crimson eyes met hers, and for the first time, she saw the depth of his pain, the hunger that gnawed at his very soul. "Your kind, your essence, sustains me. Without it, I will die." Elena's breath caught in her throat. She had heard stories of vampires, of creatures that fed on blood, but this was something else entirely. This was an alien, a being from another world, and he was asking for her life essence. "You want to feed on me?" she asked, her voice trembling. Zorath nodded weakly. "Only a little. Enough to heal. Swear. I will not take too much." Elena's mind raced. This was insane. She should run, call for help, do anything but agree to this. But something in Zorath's eyes stopped her. He wasn't a monster. He was a being in pain, a creature far from home, desperate and alone. "Okay," she said finally, her voice steady. "Do it." Zorath's eyes widened in surprise. "You would give me this?" Elena nodded. "I don't know why, but I can't let you die. Not like this." Zorath hesitated, then reached out a trembling hand. His fingers brushed against her cheek, and she felt a strange warmth spread through her body. His eyes glowed faintly as he leaned in, his lips parting to reveal sharp fangs. Elena closed her eyes, bracing herself. The sensation was unlike anything she had ever felt. It was as if a part of her was being drawn out, not painfully, but gently, like a thread being pulled from a tapestry. She felt a wave of dizziness, but it passed quickly. When she opened her eyes, Zorath was pulling away, his color already returning, his eyes brighter. "Thank you," he said, his voice stronger now. "You have given me a great gift." Elena smiled weakly. "Just promise me you won't hurt anyone else." Zorath nodded. "I swear it. I will take only what I need, and only from those who offer it freely." Over the next few weeks, Zorath regained his strength. Elena allowed him to feed on her essence sparingly, and in return, he shared stories of his world, of the stars and the wonders he had seen. They grew close, bound by an unspoken understanding. But their peace was short-lived. News of strange sightings in the forest began to spread, and soon hunters arrived, armed and determined to rid the area of the monster that lurked in the shadows. One night, as Zorath and Elena sat by the fire, the sound of approaching footsteps reached their ears. Zorath's senses were sharp now, and he knew they were in danger. "They're coming," he said, rising to his feet. "I must leave." Elena stood as well, her heart pounding. "No, you can't go out there. They'll kill you." "I cannot stay," Zorath replied. "I will not put you in danger." Elena grabbed his hand, her eyes pleading. "Then take me with you." Zorath stared at her, stunned. "You would leave your world for me?" Elena nodded. "I don't belong here anymore. Not after everything we've been through. Take me with you, Zorath. Please." Zorath hesitated, then nodded. "Very well. But know this, once we leave there is no returning." Elena smiled. "I know." Together, they slipped out of the cabin and into the night. The hunters were close, their voices growing louder. Zorath led Elena deep into the forest, to the hidden remains of his ship. With a wave of his hand, the ship's systems activated, the hum of its engines filling the air. As the hunters burst into the clearing, the ship rose into the sky, a shimmering beacon of light. Elena watched as the earth grew smaller and smaller, until it was nothing more than a speck in the vastness of space. Zorath placed a hand on her shoulder. "Are you certain this is what you want?" Elena turned to him, her eyes filled with determination. "I've never been more certain of anything in my life." Zorath smiled, a rare and genuine expression. "Then welcome to your new home, Elena." As the ship soared through the stars, Elena felt a sense of peace she had never known. She had made an unthinkable offer, and in doing so, she had saved not only Zorath but herself. Together they would explore the cosmos, two beings from different worlds, bound by a bond stronger than life itself. And so, the dying alien vampire and the human who saved him embarked on a new journey, one that would take them to the farthest reaches of the universe, where the stars burned bright and the possibilities were endless.